Good morning, ladies. How are you today? Isn't this amazing? Yeah. I'm extremely honored to have been invited to share my experience. And first, I'll start with a fun fact. Mine will just be the truth. I don't have the ones I lie and you guess. But one fun fact about me, which is actually related to the story I'm going to tell you, is that I am an avid and now actually a professional scuba diver. Yeah. So that's my fun fact. Yeah. So when I was invited to speak, I just saw it's going to be women entrepreneurs, and I'm like, whenever I'm called to speak to women entrepreneurs, I don't even look twice. But later I saw the topic, and I was talking to Elisha yesterday, and I was like, am I really the right person for this? I hadn't seen the words digital transformation, yeah? So at first I was like, really? Guys, we'll talk about e-commerce platforms and all this technical stuff. So to get some context, I started my business, Centonomy, which trains people on personal finance and on entrepreneurship. I started my business 15 years ago. 15 years ago. And I started my business, me, as Waceke, coming to you. You tell me your financial problems, and I work it out for you. You tell me your business problems, and I work it out for you. So I was doing that with multiple people because I found that was my calling. And it was because of my own mistakes. Story for another day, yeah? But I started this business when I was broke. Can you see the irony? I'm so broke yet I start this business, yeah? I guess when God calls you to something, you just have to go, yeah? He doesn't care about your situation. That's a calling, follow it. But when I was doing that, I came to a certain realization about something called return on time. When I'm sitting with you, 1, that's 1 hour or 2 hours of my time. I sit with another person, 80% of your issues are probably the same. So I decided, why not put people together? Then I talk to you together. And then I could go beyond me and get other people who can cover areas that I cannot cover. So it forced me to think about my business from a point of not Waceke, but what does this business actually need to do? What does actually the customer need? And I encourage all of us, remove yourself. What does the customer need? So we started that, and we were doing that quite well. And we're doing it in physical infrastructure. And when I started my business, even the marketing, I used to write new articles in the newspaper. I used to appear on Citizen TV or Nation TV, all that. We used to go to places all the time physically. If a client tells us come to Mombasa, we go physically. Now, we had gotten a sense that digital is coming. People were starting to talk about it, but we were comfortable. It was working. Our old model was working. So I remember we were having these meetings in the office once a week to discuss how we are going digital. We've been having them for 3 months. Nothing had ever happened. Then one day, the president of Kenya announces, you are not to turn up at the offices. People who teach and are in education like me, there's going to be no more gatherings of people. That was a Sunday. On Tuesday, we have 300 people supposed to show up in class. What choice did I have? So for me, my digital transformation was lack of choice. It was either the business shuts down during COVID, and we understood if we shut down the business, or this will be over in a month, then we come back. We don't know, and it ended up being a 2-year scenario that we had to live through. If we shut down the business, this business will never come back. So we had to go online in 2 days. And it was the biggest gift that has ever happened to my business. Now, guys, you were asking about Gen Zs. Let me tell you about Gen Zs. Me, I didn't know. In fact, I was like, do we take a 2-week breather and just suss this thing out? I entered to my office, and my Gen Zs, they had gotten people to train us on Zoom, people to train us on what? I had whatever. There were headphones all over the place. There were people I'd never seen in my life congregating in my office. So those guys who are asking about Gen Zs, just let them do their thing. Just let them do their thing and stand back. What you have to just let go is that you are the one to do everything, yeah? But COVID made sure we had to now train. We started off by training on Zoom, that we continued the business. And that's when I started thinking digital. So if some of you are here thinking, but this digital thing is not for me, it's not about first saying, I'll go digital. It's about what does technology enable you to do? So what problem does it help you solve? So it's not just about going into technology blindly. So for us, it helped us solve the problem immediately of keeping the business going. But as a result of that, so many things in the business, I have completely shifted my mind around. For example, you don't have to have full-time employees all the time. Gig economy and people working from home enables you could be stuck thinking, I need a full-time accountant. You don't. You need somebody who at the end of the week can produce A, B, C, D for you. They no longer have to come and sit in your office to do that. You don't even have to see them to do that. Sometimes you can even get consultants from out of the country to do things for you, and you will never meet. So the access to resources was a lot higher because of that. We thought we are now, because as a result of this digital thinking and stopping to think about where can we go physically, we are now teaching people in 15 countries. From Kenya, our market was Kenya. Yeah, now we're in 15 countries. So our market has opened up to Africa. We don't have an office anywhere else apart from Nairobi. So I would encourage everybody, what is the potential for your business? Remove what you can do today, remove your resources, your current resources, and remove yourself, even your current abilities as a human being, as the founder of this business, as the person who's running it every day. What can this business do? If you sell bags, what is the potential for your bags? So I started seeing Centonomy and saying, what is the potential for Centonomy? And then started a wave of thinking and a wave of partnerships and a wave of resources that I would never have accessed if I was not thinking that, if I was still thinking it's me who has to go physically. The second thing it did was the brand, because brand is not your logo, brand is not your business card, brand is not your banner, brand is not even your website. Brand is what is your customer saying about you when you're not in the room. That is brand. Brand is, do people know about you? And as Sally was saying, do they mention you? Do they mention your business? Now, the brand of Centonomy, I think, took giant leaps during COVID. We maybe have been struggling with the business in so many others, like the same struggles we all had during COVID, but the brand took a leap. Why? We were suddenly talking all over the place. We were suddenly on YouTube. We were suddenly on TikTok. We were suddenly on Facebook. We were suddenly on Instagram. And it's not about just putting, as Dennis was saying, chatter for the sake of chatter. It's about, we had to become very intentional about how do we connect with our customer. How do we connect with that customer, and where does that customer have to be reached, and what is the conversation with that customer? So now when I think of digital for me, and I'd like everybody to think this way, it's like having your employee called digital. And what is the capability of this employee called digital if I can release it? And to stop thinking it has to be complex. I learned that because, again, we were not in the office full-time, we had to become very structured about how people work. We found a simple, almost free tool online that enabled all of us we just wake up in the morning and put on our computers, we can see what all the assignments in the business are for the week, for the day, for the month. So we became so clear about what the results have to be. So it has made us a lot more intentional, and now I'm happy I was invited to this panel because truly I may not have all the complicated platforms yet, but I do know that there's definitely a way digital can especially help women. I have another point, but maybe I'll mention it after. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.